Let's have a look today on how to install Linux on a machine. It could be a PC or a laptop. For this exercise, you need a functional computer. I imagine because you want to install Linux, maybe you have a laptop and your laptop no longer working, so you have to reinstall an operating system on it, but unfortunately your laptop doesn't work. So ask a friend, can I use your PC just to put Ubuntu on a USB key? So this exercise will go through this. We're gonna imagine we are right now on our friend's PC, and then you go. First of all, you have to choose a Linux distribution. You may you may want Ubuntu, but maybe you prefer another one. But it's not really important. Choose the one that you like, and the procedure is the same. So what you have to do is go on your distribution. Let's talk about Ubuntu and go to download. And in download, you have the desktop because we want to use our laptop as our main desktop and we want Ubuntu on it. But remember, we are on a friend's PC actually. So we ask our friend to download Ubuntu or any distribution. And you will also need, so now Ubuntu is downloading and it's a ISO format file. An ISO format file is a file that you will use to burn a CD-ROM drive, or the same thing on a USB key. It's just a wording. The other tools you will need is ISO to USB. We're going to put that ISO file to a USB key. So this is why you need that tool. The same thing, you download this tool. So both files are downloading, and don't worry about the delay here. We're gonna skip that part. And at the end, you have your USB. For sure, you installed ISO to USB. Now you need to execute USB ISO to USB. When the tool has been launched, you can now load up your ISO file into it. So you remember you download Ubuntu 20.4 and so on. You choose that ISO file. And another thing you have to do is to put a USB key in your PC's friend's, the computer of your friend. We are still on our friend's computer here. So you put the USB key over there. The key has been inserted, and as you can see, the key is assigned a letter E. Select our USB E letter, and it's empty. So that's fine. Let's get back here. USB drive, we're gonna refresh. And we have the E over here. So this is the Linux installation ISO file, and we want to put that Linux installation file on a key. We don't install Linux on the key. We install we put in place everything that we will need to install when we will be on our laptop. This is what we are doing. We're gonna choose NTFS, the same thing here. You don't have to use another one. NTFS is fine because, as I told, we don't need a Linux file system because we don't install Linux yet. We only put on the key the proper installation and everything that we're going to need to install Linux later. And bootable only support Windows bootable image. You need a bootable key. If your USB key is old, maybe it's not bootable, because I remember a couple of years ago there is two kind of USB key sale in the retail store, and some of them are not bootable and some of them was bootable. But actually in 2020, I think that no longer relevant. All USB key are bootable, but this is what is sold here in Canada, my observation. And then you have to burn, and that will be burning the ISO file on my USB key. And remember, everything will be lost on your key. If you use a key with important document, it's not a good idea. Use an empty key, and if it's not empty, the program will empty it. It will format the key. Creating bootable USB disk, and then you have the status. Key will be format, and you can see the green over here, and we have to wait until the end. So let's wait a little bit. Now we will not wait till the end because I already have a USB key ready for the implementation. So let's go now on the laptop and stop this process. So I simulate a laptop here. I'm going to create a new machine. I will call it laptop for a new Linux. This is the name of my machine. I call it like that. It's a Linux. The version of Linux, you can choose other 64-bit Linux machine. If you want to do it with VirtualBox, here is the procedure. If you already have a real laptop, you're going to use it. Memory size, I'm going to put 2 gigs of memory. Create a new hard drive for that machine, a virtual hard drive for sure. That will be VDI. Dynamically allocated, that's fine. And 8 gigabytes for my disk drive. Now I have my new machine. Laptop for new Linux. We have it here. This is the equivalent of your laptop. If I try to start that machine, that virtual machine, as you can see, there is no boot disk on it, because that machine doesn't really work. I never installed any, not because I say new Linux, that Linux is installed. It's only a description. It's time now to install an operating system. I can install Windows if I want, but now for that installation, it's Linux. And because no medium has been found, no operating system, my machine failed. I will stop that. Let's try to restart again. What you have to do, you have to press F12 to go in your BIOS. It goes pretty fast, okay? Let me start again. Some BIOS you need to do delete or F12 to go in BIOS. Here, press F12. You see that? When you will boot your laptop, you may see press F12 or delete. Most of the time it's delete or F12. If I press F12 right away when it appears, I push F12 right now, I get in my VirtualBox virtual BIOS. And then I will say, okay, boot from the CD-ROM that is simulated by my USB key actually. But let's see how might look like your BIOS. Your BIOS might look like that. Okay, thanks for lifewire.com for that screenshot. When you will boot your laptop, it should look like something like that. Press delete to enter setup. Mine was asking me to press F12. So you may have F12 or delete required. When you will put that, your BIOS may look like that. And here you have instruction to use the arrow key to select an item or a menu. Right and left and right, it's to move in the menu over here from left or right. And then when you are in a menu, up and down is to select an item in that menu. So go to your booth menu, and in the booth menu, you will have a couple of things like that. Choose a removable device. And then you're going to save and exit from this. You're going to restart, and now the device will boot from a removable device. So it will boot from your USB key. It will search for a bootable something, but not on the hard drive, on your USB key. To simulate that, I'm going to get back here and I will edit my configuration. I'll go in my storage, and this is my hard drive or virtual hard drive in my virtual laptop, and this is my virtual CD-ROM equivalent to my USB key. Instead of inserting a USB key, let's imagine I burn Linux, my installation, on a CD-ROM drive. So both is the same, okay? Don't worry for that. I choose my drive, and then I'm going to choose what kind of CD-ROM I'm going to put in this drive. You can see here I have Ubuntu. I'm going to choose this one. So what I just did, it's the equivalent to put uh, the USB key that you have in your AUSB. And now when I will boot, I may boot from that device instead of a hard drive without any operating system. And now you can see the machine found the USB key and start booting from it. And on that USB key, it's not Ubuntu, but it's an installation of Ubuntu. And now you get in the installation program. Now he's asking you, do you want to try Ubuntu? Because you can run from the USB key and just have a try of it, or you install it and choose the language that you need the installation to be. I'm going to use English and install Ubuntu. This is where you enter your keyboard layout. You can choose your keyboard, and you can test your keyboard here just to make sure $ is at the proper place, or a round bracket, just to make sure you choose the proper keyboard. You can type it here, and if it's the wrong keyboard, you have the opportunity to choose another one. Then when you're set up your correct keyboard, continue. Normal installation, this is what we're gonna go with. and download update for Ubuntu. That's fine. Actually, everything is in memory. We never installed anything on the hard drive yet because we haven't choose any hard drive yet. We are only on the USB key. The installation program is running, and we we just play in memory actually. And here is the hard drive section. Do you want to erase or you want to create a partition? Maybe you put a hard drive where you have something and you plan to do another partition to install Linux on that partition. But actually, we imagine that we have a failed laptop and we just erase everything, and you have to erase everything. If you didn't take a backup of your laptop before it fails, maybe it's time to do something else. Not trying to install something new on it, but this is something else. Now we are installing a new operating system. Everything will be lost on the current hard drive. This is what we have to do. Install now. And now we have the information here to write the change on the disk. We have to choose a fuseau horaire or a time zone. Okay, sorry. And you can choose here, or you can put the time zone that you might already know. Let's see for New Delhi, maybe. New Delhi. This is our time zone, or any time zone. You just click or you type here. Okay. When you set the proper time zone, you continue and you put your name. My name is Eric. My computer name will be Eric Laptop. I can name it like that. My first Linux laptop, maybe. Pick a username. You can put your username here and you choose a password. Okay, now my password matched properly. Log in automatically, or because you have two choices. Maybe you boot your computer and you logged in automatically, or you boot your computer and you get a password, a dashboard asking you enter your password to continue. We're gonna choose this way of logging in to force asking for password. And now the installation is taking place. Now I boot up from my CD, my USB key. I choose my proper time zone, keyboard, language, the username I will need, and so on. I answer all the questions. I said okay on this hard drive too. And then, okay, go, the installation is running. So now let's wait for this to be complete. Installing the operating system. So that may take a while. I'm gonna skip the video. Now the installation has been complete. You can restart your computer, but take care. If you restart right now, don't forget your USB key is still there. And if you restart, because the BIOS you set up to boot from a removable device, it will start again from the USB key and try to reinstall Ubuntu. So remove your USB key, and when the USB key has been removed, now you will be able to restart. Because I'm on a virtual machine here with VirtualBox, the way to remove my USB key is to turn off my computer. So turn off the computer. I will get back here in configuration and settings. I'm go to storage, and here my virtual CD-ROM or virtual USB key, doesn't matter. I have to remove the disk from the CD-ROM drive. Now it says empty. It's the same thing as removing the USB key. Now I can start up the computer. It will start from the hard drive. If it doesn't, get back to your BIOS and change the boot sequence to boot from the hard drive. This is our first boot from hard drive. Now it's starting Ubuntu. Ubuntu, it's a Linux distribution. You might you may have installed a different distribution like Red Hat, SUSE, CentOS, Kali Linux, Linux Mint. There is so many of them. Choose the one you prefer. Now we are back at the login screen. You remember when I said a username and it's asking me for a password? I put my password in. And then now you can connect your account with one of those. I'm going to skip that now. I skip almost everything, but don't worry to fill that up properly. And now you're done. Linux is installed. And here is your Ubuntu software, the same thing as Google Play example or Apple Store, the same kind of things where you can find software to download what you need. And that's all for the demonstration. Now you can start browsing, installing apps, anything you want. You already have LibreOffice. It's a free office suite like containing Word, Excel, and things like that. Instead of Word, the name is Write, and instead of Excel, the name is Calc. It's a calculator and a writer, the same thing as Word and Excel. And then you have your web browser, Firefox already installed, and then you can start browsing the internet as long as you are connect to internet. You now have a working Linux machine, and I hope it's not too hard to install. I think it's pretty straightforward. Have a good day. Enjoy your new Linux platform. Thank you.